All right. Welcome, everybody, to Youth Ministry and Mentorship 101. Today, I have the BAYA Federation President, Isaiah, Reverend Isaiah from Southern New England Conference. He's actually at God Encounters right now. So
Yeah,
I'm very happy to have you on tonight to do this interview for the podcast. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. So
That's good.
let's just start off by if you could give like a little a little bit about yourself and why you're in youth ministry and yeah, just a little story about yourself, man.
All right. Well, honestly, my name is Isaiah Goncalves. I'm from the Southern New England Conference. I work with the youth department, well, in a sense, and also I love doing youth ministry. The reason why is because it's it's different to connect to people and being a role model, sense of role model to them, and I mean, I just enjoy interacting with the young kids and the young adults. So I feel like, why not give my time to the youth? I mean, I feel like the adults are being taken care of, so why not give my time to the youth and be there for them and be the change that they need? So I got into youth ministry probably about 3 years, about 3, 4 years ago, and
Okay.
I haven't looked back ever since. So, and I actually enjoy doing it. It's something that brings pleasure to me.
Awesome. So uh, can you like give us a little bit of a background of what the duties and responsibilities of a federation, the youth federation president is?
All right, yeah. So here in Southern New England Conference, we split up in 4 groups. Obviously, we have Pastor Milton, which is the youth director, but to be an extension of him, obviously he's one man, and to go to 3 different states, it could be a little bit tough. So what we had done is split it up in 5 groups, and we have Baya, Maya, Sky, Raya, and what's the other one? Sky and Kaya. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So you have Baya, which is the Boston area. That's what I work with. We have Maya, which is the Massachusetts, Western Massachusetts, up to Springfield, and then you have Kaya, which is like northern Connecticut and like west, like Boonies,
Mm,
Massachusetts, like yeah, like the other place
yeah.
that we don't really go.
Yeah.
And then we got the Rye, which is Rhode Island. So what we do basically do is we're an extension to youth director. Our goal is to go to different churches and see what these churches need, what they lack of, if they need a a path, if they don't have a Pathfinder club, if they don't have an AY program. What we do, we provide the tools and the help they need to upstart it.
Mm,
Like a lot of times this church, and every church should have an AY program, is as youth is the future of the church, and a lot
yeah.
of times we don't have that. So at some churches, so what we do, we just go to churches and see what they need, really anything, adventures, AY, small groups, Pathfinders, anything with youth related. And what we do, we create a report, we bring it back to obviously Milton, and Milton will focus his attention on that certain location if it really needs help. And also myself, I lend help. So, for example, we had one church once that had a great Pathfinder club,
Mm,
but didn't have an AY. So what we did, I invited other people from different churches to come do AY at their churches. So in that case, we'll upstart it because they do have the youth. It's just they didn't have the program, or vice versa with Pathfinder Club. We had a great AY, but not a great Pathfinder Club, and
mm,
we had plenty of kids just going home and after church is just go to church and go home, and that's it. Don't even go to
mm.
AY program. So we help create that environment where the youth are being tended to. So
Okay.
that's what we do as I do as a federation leader, is to make sure these churches and these youth are being tended to, because it's like I tell a lot of people, like I like to say I'm the future of the church, but I'm not the future anymore. I'm the present, and these kids are the future now. So
Okay.
let's give them a platform, honestly, so they know where to head and give them an opportunity.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
what do you think is the greatest struggle you've had with Baya in that area as
Well,
well?
what is it?
What is the greatest challenge you guys have in youth ministry over there?
The greatest challenge with Baya, um, I think the greatest challenge with Baya, honestly, is because we're in the city,
Yeah.
and there's not that many. How should I say? Like when I see there's different areas with like adventure schools,
Hmm.
so you have a lot of inner city kids, kids that go to public school that even though they want to, they know what's right, they tend to follow the crowd. And nowadays the youth nowadays, when I think about it, they got it easy nowadays, and it's like they're easy to follow the crowd.
Uh,
So I think the greatest, and it's not only just by it, but I feel like there's a lot of youth that's not in the church no more. And
yeah.
it's like, not saying, but like I feel like back in the day, like my parents are from a third world country, Cape Verde.
Hmm.
So um it's, hey, you do what I say as a parent. And
Yeah.
nowadays it's like when I look at it, and I even joke around with some of my older friends, although adults, I'm like, hey, are you the parent or the kid's the parent? So I feel like because of the influence there is with the kids not going to church as often. So I feel like that's what creates a big a big issue and problem, because they want to do right, but they're so quick to follow the path of their friends that's not in church, you know. So I feel like that is one of the greatest problems,
Okay.
because we don't have as many youth as we had growing up.
All right. So going along into that vein, what do you think you've been doing, or what have you been doing to like really put a positive influence on those, young people that are so
Well,
easily.
what I've been doing to put a positive impact on the kids is, well, not only do I do the buyer, which I help out with the church, I also do a basketball league.
All right.
It gives the kids something to look forward to. And I've been doing the basketball league for about 4 years now. This year I took a little break because I've been so much into ministry, and
Mm,
I wouldn't say I'm newlywed, but I'm still newlywed. And
yeah.
I wanted to focus a little bit with my wife a little bit. So I put the basketball aside. But that's one thing that every time I go to church, this is what the kids always ask, like, hey, where's the basketball? Where's the basketball? When's basketball coming back? I feel with the basketball league, creating the impact is them giving them a platform to do things on Saturday night. So obviously, there's certain criteria for you to play is you got to go to church. So like it motivates them, and it shouldn't be the only motivation, but any motivation to get the kids to go to church is always a good motivation. So I feel like with the basketball league I have up and running, I think kids are more inclined, and we even have kids that's not even 7-day Adventists that will go and
Yes.
will go to church. Um, Also, that I started my Pathfinder Club in my church, and I've been helping that out. We haven't My Pathfinder Club used to be big, and
Hmm.
we took a big steep fall, and now we're back on the right track. So I feel like just giving the kids the opportunity to do things, and I tell them and invite them to events, because a lot of time growing up, I didn't realize that there was so much thing that the conference does for us. It could have been the lack of communication. So what I do, especially with Bai, is communicate that with the church. It's like, hey, these are these events that's coming up. Let's do it. Let's get these kids on board, um, and let them, because I feel like when they mingle with other Christians,
Yeah.
um, and become friends with other Christians, and it's like one of my friends' dad told me, tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are.
Mm,
And so with that, it's like if we give them these platforms that I've been helping them, doing these activities, whether it's basketball, whether it's doing Pathfinder, whether it's doing like small activities, or even like inviting them to these events and helping them come, it opens their eyes, and that way they don't see that kids are not always all the same. Like, we have kids that love God.
Yeah.
So as long as we do that, and I keep doing that, I feel like I'm creating a positive impact on them, because just like one adult used to always look out for me, I want to be that impactful person that I look out for them, and they can open up to me. So I think that's one of the positive things I've been doing to help them realize there's more to church than just sitting in a pew.
Mm.
You can do community service. You could have fun. You can play ball. You can interact with other people. You can go for a hike on the Sabbath. It's like we have that mindset that church is just going to church. It's not that. Church is
Yeah.
connecting with other people and community
Nice.
service. And it's like saving a soul that's lost is, I'm not saying it's more important than saving a soul that's in the church already, but it's very important, and I feel like when you be that positive influence on them, I think that is a lasting impact, and that impact becomes a legacy, and that's what people is known you for. So I feel like that's what I've been doing to help the youth.
Nice, awesome, and I know that for a fact, brother. But as I see you as a mentor, brother. So I'm sure that you've had mentors in your past, and
Oh yeah.
one question I have to ask is there something that a mentor told you, especially in ministry, that you still remember to this day and you carry on in your leadership role?
I mean, I've had a couple mentors.
Yeah.
I had a couple, actually, a lot. Well, one thing that always sticks out to me is show me who your friend is, and I'll show you who you are.
Mm.
That was a lasting impression for me, and the reason why is because I was born in the church. I did leave the church. I'm one of the few that left the church, and I left the church for maybe a good 2-3 years, and I came back, and when I had came back, the guy just told me, just like, hey, show me who your friend is, and I'll tell you who you are. And I realized that me hanging out with people that didn't go to church didn't help my situation. It didn't. It showed my character of who I am, because that's who I am. That's who I decided to be with. So when I had switched up my friends, I started hanging out with some old friends that before, because I had moved to Tennessee, I started hanging out with some old friends that I had back in the days that is in church. And I started hanging out with them, and then slowly but surely, like, my love for Christ came back. To this day, I thank them, because honestly, I feel like if it wasn't for them, that new friends that I had, I wouldn't be where I am today. But then also what the guy had told me, I wouldn't be where I am today. So another thing that someone else always also told me is, and I use this as a motto is be the difference that you wanted someone to be for the youth. Like, for me, like, be that difference. Like I had mentors, but I also had struggles sometimes in church, growing up. And he was like, be that person that you needed when you were young to
Yeah.
these young kids. So those are the few things that stuck with me. It was show me who your friends are. And this is something I tell the kids all the time. Like you can't tell me you hang out with thieves and you're not a thief, Like, you do what your friends do. We're in this society now that it's easy to follow. It's so much easier. It's like, it's so much easier to steal what steal is, as it's easy to speak about God with people that speak about God.
Wow.
So if I'm hanging out with people that speaks about God and love God, I'm gonna be more inclined to speak about God and love God.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm hanging out with thieves and robbers, and even though the same way, it's I'm more inclined to do it because it's the peer pressure.
Gotcha. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You're currently at God Encounters, and
Yes.
could you give us like because I mentioned that you're
I'm
there.
sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said you're currently at God Encounters. So could you like tell us what happens at this event and the purpose of it?
Yeah, I think we keep breaking up for a little bit there.
Oh, sorry. All right, listen,
Sorry.
no problem. Uh, I was asking that you're currently at God Encounters, and could you like let us know what the purpose of that event and what goes on there?
Yes, so God Encounter is a place where you come and encounter with God. It's like leave all your problems out the door and just come and encounter with God. And we just come together, just a bunch of youth. And one thing I love about it is this youth that comes from everywhere, like New York. Youth come from Northeastern Conference, Southern New England Conference, Northern New England Conference, Bermuda, and we just come all together, and we're all these same youth. Like we all have our difficulties and our problems in our life and our trials in our life, and we just come and we have that encounter with God and just understand that we're just not. It's not only us that's going through it. And
Mm,
when you see these youth that's here, it's like yes, let's have this encounter together. We have these issues. It might not be the same issue, but we have some issues. Let's encounter God together. And then we have different seminars that talks about questions that us as a young adult asks, and ask about like, like any questions really, like main topic like sexuality, the love of God, and is um, it's just a lot of different questions that we as a youth ask, and we come together and we see other people's point of view, and obviously, be persuaded in a sense and understand each other. So I feel like we come here to counter God, and actually, and the name says it all. God encounter, just encountering our time with God, just leaving all our past on the side, or everything we went through the week, and just come together and have an encounter with God.
amen. Amen. Yeah, I just wanted you to speak on that a little bit because I noticed that young adults, they love events like this where they can, like you said, meet other young adults and just talk about what it's like being a Seventh-day Adventist, like it's being a Christian in today's um, atmosphere, in today's culture. And I know that last year when I went through the same thing where I met an area coordinator from Northeastern, and he was saying the same stuff I was going through, and I was just like, oh man, this is awesome. This is the stuff I need. And I was
Those are
getting
the best. Those are the best because it's
yeah,
like you're not in it. You're not in it by yourself.
yeah,
A lot of times when you're doing something by yourself, it's so difficult. But when
yes,
you have somebody there that's going through the same thing, it's just like, man, like we can get through this, and it's pretty cool because I might, it's quote unquote, so I'm a big Patriots fan.
mm,
Go Patriots, yeah. So it was on Mic'd Up, before the game. It was Devin McCourty was speaking, and he said a Bible verse. And forgive me if I don't know the Bible verse off the top of my head, but it's quote unquote, it's like, um, be happy that you have a brother that goes through the same thing that you're going through, but
mm,
pity those that's by themselves because they don't have no one to lift them up.
uh,
So, and that made me love the Patriots a little bit more because that's a real saying. And
yeah,
when you come and see that there's people that's going, like you could get through it together, but when you're by yourself, it's so much difficult. It's so much
yeah,
harder. I'm not saying that you can't overcome it, but it does become difficult. But when you have someone that's going through the same thing and you can relate,
yeah,
man, like it's just like now we stop motivating each other. Like, yo, we can do this. We got this. Like let's do this.
wow,
So definitely, it is cool to know people that's going through the same issues that you're going through.
nice, nice. All right. So, for any people who are starting young adult ministry, take a page out of the book out of God Encounters. um,
Yeah.
what I could you give us like any motivation or any words of wisdom or some kind of uplifting words for anyone who wants to be a youth leader like yourself or
Um,
mentor?
and it goes back for the youth ministry. It's just be that change. Um, be that change that you wanted when you were growing up. Understand that growing up wasn't easy. We had our difficulties, and be patient with the youth.
Mm,
It's not easy, but the beauty of it is that they'll look up to you, just like I look up to my mentors, and just show them love. Um, because the most important thing that you can show someone is love, and they will respect you more. Um, don't don't force anything upon them. Um, just show them love. I guarantee you get through them even more. And just
wow,
be that change. Be that change. Be that person that you needed when you were young.
wow,
Just think about it, and understand what they're going through. It's not the same, but just understand them. Put yourself in their shoes and love them. Be that change. Be that difference, and keep your keep your mind focused on God. He's the only one that can lead you, and He didn't bring us this far for nothing.
mm,
And He has a major plan for all of us.
wow. Amen. Amen. So you heard it from Brother Isaiah, who is currently the BIA Federation president ever in the Southern New England Conference. Be that change. Mentors who are listening right now, be that change. And we can really uplift our young people, empower them, and help them be ready to be leaders, mentors, youth ministers, and introduce them to Christ so that they are ready for his soon coming. So thank you, Brother Isaiah. Thank you for coming on Youth Ministry and Mentorship 101. You have blessed us, and
All right.
I'm very happy you were on. So until next time, we're here at Youth Ministry and Mentorship 101, where we always say youth ministry is not a stepping stone into ministry. Youth ministry is ministry, period.